Hi there guys, this is Farmer Bob. Welcome back to my channel, man. Always good to be back, guys. It's so nice to really make these videos for you guys and enjoy all the fun comments, and just it's just awesome to have all my subscribers and just sharing what I learn and what I know. It's always been a pleasure, so I just want to tell you guys that I really appreciate you, each one of you. It's wonderful, guys. I've recently sent out a video on ideas for videos, and I really got so much feedback from that. And another video that requested has been really sort of standing out is how to customize a building with textures, and then how to put that into the game. Now, the putting into the game, it's simple because that follows a normal Placeables rule. But what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to take a let's use the hayloft from, I think it's on the lizard, data lizard, Placeables lizard is the hayloft, and that is a nice example of how to customize the textures on the building. Now, when I say textures, I mean the walls and the roof and that kind of stuff, so we're going to have an intense look into that. So before we get stuck in, if this is your first time here on my channel, I really welcome you, and just pause the video right now and just do that 1 little second and click the subscribe. I really appreciate that, guys. Then the other thing, obviously, we first need to open, so I'm going to take you through the whole thing from start to finish, how to do a mod like that or a placeable like that. All right. So first things first is we want to go into the actual game, Farming Simulator, your installation directory. Go to Data, Placeables. Everyone that's doing map making should be fairly aware of this directory, the Data Placeables directory, because this is where all your placeables is for FS22, which is very nice, all neatly and nicely bundled into one folder called Placeables. Then what we want to do, we want to go to Lizard, and I think it's under where? Hayloft. There it is. I've chosen this one because it's a nice example, and I've done it before in the past for the Ravenport map. And so we're going to use this one as a nice example. So first things first, I've realized when you copy this thing, there is stuff that it doesn't really take with. There is stuff in the R3D, because if you look at the few files that's in here, it doesn't always take everything. So I like, and sometimes it do, but I've had some problems with the hayloft in the past, and I'm going to share you all the tips of how to get this into your map and customize it. All right, because when you change textures on it, you're customizing something, and that is going to be it for it, So here we go. So first open the R3D. I'm having a nice cup of coffee. My wife here has made me some nice coffee. So get yourself a nice cup or something that you like to drink and sit back and relax with me. Alright, so here we can see the console is clean. There's no errors on it. Obviously, that's good thing to check that always. Then we're going to take the hayloft, and we're going to go File, Export Selection with Files, and we are going to go into a map. Now I've actually shot myself in the foot because I haven't brought a map into my mods folder yet. Oh my word, my bad. So we're going to go into my test map. Test map, here it is. Test map, so it's FS22 test map, map Alpine, and then under Placeables, I'm going to create a new folder called Hayloft. I just want to make sure of the spelling there. It's hay with a capital L. Now I like to learn these, how they spell the names, so it sort of just normally helps a lot. Now the R3D itself, interestingly enough, it looks like a small letter there, but the actual name of it is a capital letter. So yeah, be careful with that. Don't make a mistake like I did now. It's one of those I mistakes, So we're just going to call it Hayloft like so. and save. Now when it gets to the 2 questions, you're going to go yes to both of those. So that will take everything connected to the hayloft and leave it in game, but it will take only the i3D of the hayloft out and its shapefile, obviously. So now we can close it, and we are not going to save it. And we want to grab this XML here as well. Control C, and we're going to go into our map now. Let me just open this. I've been here in my maps, FS22 test map, there it is, maps, map Alpine, and then I like to put all my XMLs in the XML folder called XML, obviously. And then just for fun's sake, I'm going to copy this whole map, Control C, and drop it in my mods folder. That's where I like to work from, because that gives me the opportunity to have my map in the mods folder. Now when I say the mods folder, guys, that's the folder where all your mods is, and believe it or not, this is all the mods I use, except for if I play games. I normally have maybe 1 or 2 other mods that I add to it, but this is the mods I use. This is my whole game. Other guys have got 200, 300, 500 mods in their mods folders, and I don't like playing like that, or I actually don't have time to play like that. But anyway, we are digressing. So the mods folder is in your Farming Simulator. In Documents, My Games Farming Simulator 22 mods. That's the mods folder that I'm talking and referring to. And I leave my map in here because that gives me the opportunity to edit the map as well as test it directly in the game. So I can test all my changes. Because whereas if you have it in another directory, you have to copy it in there and test it and copy it back out and all that nonsense, you know. And I know there's some guys that think you need to zip your map. You do not need to zip your map. You only need a zip map when you want to play multiplayer. But for normal gameplay, unzip map is perfectly fine. Unless you've got small hard drive space, it's always better to zip your maps then, because then obviously it takes up less space. Alright, so now let's get into the things. What I'm going to do now, first of all, let's not worry about the map now. Let's go into the placeable that I've created, and I want to show you. There it is, Hayloft. It's 1.1 meg, very small, nice and small like that. If you export it any other way, it's going to be a large file with a lot of files in here, textures and everything. That's why I say yes to both those questions, and it leaves everything in game, taking out only the i3D, and that's what we want. We want to work with this i3D. Okay, so first things first is open the i3D. And now we're going to have a look at what we want to customize in the Hayloft. Alright, so what I normally do, I'm sorry for the slurping in the background, guys. I'm just enjoying my coffee while I'm talking. Okay, so let us have a look at this. I'm going to change this roof texture to a tile texture. Like for instance, maybe one of those... I won't say European style. Maybe the European style will be nice. That rough, wavy tiles, you know, like the clay tiles. And then the wood. Let's try and get the wood to go white, like a white, a shade of white or something. So it will be white painted wood instead of normal old varnished wood like it is, you know. Alright, so let's get stuck in with that. So first things first is we're going to check the roof now. And when I look at the roof visuals, it's all your visual stuff for the mod or the placeable is normally under your visuals, you know. So I'm going to expect that to be the visual that we need. And to go to see what material is used there is we're going to go to the material editing tab here. And then just to have a look at the albedo map. That is what we want to see. It is called, if I can hover my mouse on there, it is Data Placeables Lizard Hayloft and then Hayloft Diffuse by the looks of it. Hayloft Diffuse. Alright, so that texture we need to copy over. So I'm going to go open that and I'm going to keep this in here and then just open a new tab so we can go back to Farming Simulator, the installation directory, Data Placeables, Lizard, Hayloft, and we're looking for hayloft diffuse. There it is. So now you can already see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to copy that over into my hayloft here. And then the next thing we want to do is now open this actual texture. There it is. And there you can see the roof. You can see the size of the building and also some other things. So what we want to do now is change this roof, which looks like an old rusted corrugated thing, to something new. So to get something new, I want to open another tab, and then I've got an idea for it. I want to go to Data, Placeables, Map FR, and Farm Buildings, Farm Building, this one here. I want to, let me just see here, Garage Props. Okay, farm building. Let's open that i3D and have a look what the roof looks like. So we're busy choosing a texture. Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for, you see. So we want our roof to look like this. This is beautiful. So what we're going to do now is click this one's visuals, and get to farm building, and then obviously normally interior. Where would that be? So if I click the walls, then I get farm building. The winter is only the snow stuff. That's that little ice cap on top. So let me get rid of that, because this is like really in the way, you know. So I'm just going to select that, and then we get to, so it must be that. Alright, so material editing. Okay, so we got rid of the winter. Remember, we're changing stuff here and fiddling around. It's in-game stuff, so it's very important not to save this i3D when you're done with it. So we want to go material editing, and let's have a look where it's hiding. It's under data maps, map FR textures, farm building diffuse, by the looks of it. Farm building diffuse. So it's under map FR textures. Alright, so this is where this one is hiding. So map FR, then they've got Placeables, map FR, farm buildings. Oh, where's the textures? Did I miss the reading there? Ah, okay, sorry, it's not under Placeables, it's under the actual maps. So it's data, maps, map FR, and then textures. There you go. And then farm building diffuse. DF. If I'm gonna find it, guys. Gas. Let's do a high F. Farm shop, farm building. Alright, so there's our farm building diffuse. So we're gonna copy that over into the map folder. Sorry, I want to go here to the hayloft just for temporary use. So it doesn't matter if you copy it over, but once you're done with it, just delete it again, because you don't want to have files that are not used in your map folder. So remember to delete it. You can either take it to a temporary directory as well. And mind you, we could have just directly opened it here, because we're not going to change it. All we want to do is have it open here in our paint.net. So there you can see that's our old one. I can actually close this intro screen. So there's our actual hayloft, and this is the texture we want for the roof. Okay, so here we go. So what we're going to do now is grab our little selection, rectangle selection tool, and we're going to copy this area here, and make sure you don't go into that blue, but have sort of everything copied. And all you're going to do, you've just selected it, press Ctrl C, and then go over to this one, press Ctrl V, and there you go. So what we need to do now is then just pull this down a little bit so it covers the red part of that texture there. Alright, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit save as is. And remember, when you work with textures, always go DXT1 and select generate bitmaps, and adaptive use best quality for that, and then just click OK. All should be well just as is. And if you look at the size now of that Hayloft diffuse, it's still just 2.37 meg. Then you know everything is fine, no problem, nothing to worry about. Good. Okay, so now that we've changed that, we need to now just want to see if we're done with this. Yeah, I think we're done with this. So we're gonna close this i3D. Don't save it because we've deleted stuff there. Otherwise our game will be all messed up. So now we're gonna close this Hayloft and just go back into the i3D itself. So right click on the i3D, open with Notepad++. You know what, guys? I've actually forgot because if you work with a custom building, do change the actually the name doesn't really matter here on the i3D, but I've had so much problems, but we'll see if we still have the same problem. I know with the Hayloft I've done for Ravenport, there was a strange problem with that thing, and it actually ended up being the name of the i3D that was the same as the i3D in game, which caused, or it was the XML, I can't really remember, but it caused so much havoc in game because I did a custom one as well, and that caused so many errors and issues for me. But anyway, so we're going to right click. Where's my right click? I must select it first. Right click and then open with Notepad++. We're going to find that texture called Hayloft Diffuse. Just want to copy that. Control C just to make sure I've got the right thing. Actually, there's not so many files here. I can just find it here. Hayloft Diffuse. There it is, Hayloft Diffuse. And what we're going to do now is you're going to take out everything in front of it because it's not in the dollar data anymore. And now we're using, we're actually telling this i3D that in its root directory is a file called hayloftdiffuse.png. And here it is, hayloftdiffuse.dds. Don't worry about the PNG. All the DDS files in the game is called PNGs in the i3D for some reason. I don't know why, but it is like that. Just don't worry about it. So there you go. So in the same directory where the i3D is Hayloft Diffuse, and that's what it's telling file ID 20 here, that Hayloft Diffuse is now there. So we're going to save that and then just reopen the Hayloft and see what our roof now looks like, if we need to adjust anything. And that's also a tip there why I've left this open here, so we can make adjustments accordingly, you know. So I haven't closed it or saved it up, and immediately you can see, oh my word, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. We've got texture looking like that, and then because we've stretched it, so I'm going to show you how to fix that now. It doesn't look that shabby, but we're getting there, guys. So what we're going to do is go back, close this up, don't save, go back into our textures, and now I'm just going to hit Control and Z to undo my changes here. Control Z, like so, and then what I'm going to do is move this up a little bit, so only that little tip sticks up there, like so. Maybe a little bit better like that. I'm over a little bit. I think like that will be fine. And I'm going to go Control V once again, so it doesn't contain an image. Why not? So I'm just reverting back. This is why I left this open, guys. So leave it open. Control C again. For some reason my clipboard has things. So I'm going to hit Escape to actually make that thing stick, and then Control V to paste a new one. And what I want to do now is, okay, let's do this, guys. I'm just going to undo that, move that about correctly. Go back here, and then we're going to see how many lines we need. About 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll say 5. Let's copy almost all 6 of them. So we are going to pull that down, not that, like that. Why is it Control Z? I'm going to escape. Oh, it's got the select tool. Sorry, man. I'm just going to say, what is going on? All right, so let us take it up to roughly about there. Control C and Control V. And now we're going to pull this down and sort of go onto the red here. I think that sort of almost looks like it's aligned. What I want to do is just stretch this a little bit and see. I think that looks beautiful. Okay, all right, and then I'm going to save once again and go back into our R3D, because that's nice. Now we've got the hayloft diffuse there. We can edit it, save it, and then just reopen the R3D. And because the R3D is pulling this hayloft diffuse, it will be shown up on the roof, and then we can have a look. Okay, it's actually got one big horrible line across there for some reason. But it's starting to look like a roof, you know, which is not bad. And it's looking, it doesn't have the normal map yet, guys, so that is why it's so flat. So as soon as we put the normal map in here, you're going to have the actual bumpiness of the roof. If you look at the other one, I'm not going to open that now, but that is why the normal map is going to change that for us. So I'm not going to save yet. We are still busy working on this diffusers. Now for some reason there, it's got a huge line there. I'm going to go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, there it is. Just to get to the point where I can move this about again. Alright. Okay, and it's still got a line. I wonder if we can change, actually a good idea to sort of work over these layers is to create a new layer, guys. Where is my layers thingamabob? Here we go. If you create a new layer, then we should have actually started with that by creating a new layer. But anyways, the idea is to I wonder if we should just do that. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and then Control V. I'm going to Control C there to copy that, Control V to paste it, and then just move this one over the other one. Sort of like that. I don't know if you understand what I mean with the extra layer. So if you add a layer here, you will get a second layer where you can put stuff over the background, which this layer here will now be the background, you see. So this will be the new layer. It's selected now. So you can paste stuff in here with the background and work on it without affecting the actual thing, you know. So it's actually safer to work that way. But because I've now started the wrong way, I'm just going to delete that. I think I'll do it on the next. I wonder if we're going to get to a next one, because our wood, everything is in here. All right, so let's save this image and see what it looks like now in the editor. Hopefully it looks better. Yeah, I think I can leave it like is, and we'll have a look at what it looks like when we are going to put that normal map on. Alright, let us get stuck in with that. So I want to go in here to textures and find that hayloft. Okay, this is the heights. I don't know why they call it a heights file, but it's actually a normal map for it. What on earth? A heights file. I haven't seen a height file before, guys, but anyway. Farm building diffuse, farm building normal. There's the normal for it, man. Sorry. But this is interesting. I haven't realized that there's a height diffuse as well. Anyways, let's get stuck in. So I'm going to copy that over. Control C. Back into our hayloft. Control V. Like so. Farm building normal. There it is. There's the diffuse and the normal. And that is our hayloft diffuse. So what we want to do, we're going to have to copy the normal as well. Oh my word. Alright. Just to get the texture on that roof looking good. So I'm going to have to copy the hayloft as well. So let us go to the hayloft. Find the hayloft normal. There it is. Control C. Bring that into our map as well. For those of you who don't know what the normal does, a normal file is the bump file. They call it a bump or a height map. It's a texture file that gives your diffuse file, which is the texture itself, gives it a 3D look. In other words, if it's a ball, it will look like a ball. Especially if look at a raindrop. If a raindrop is lying on a table, if it's flat, it's just the texture 2D. But the normal map gives it shadows and all kinds of things so that it actually looks like 3D, though it is 2D. You know, that's basically what the normal does, for those of you who are wondering. Alright, so this we can close. And then I want to grab that normal, open that up. And there you can see we need to do the same now. Oh my word, it's going to be fun. We want to do the same now with this normal. We also need to open the hayloft normal. So we've got the hayloft normal there, and there it is. And we want to grab this normal here and go to our selection tool once again and grab only a small bit of the top here. I remember, like so. Control C. Go over to our normal. Control, and yeah, what you can do now, I'm going to show you. So you open a new layer. Control V on the new layer, and what's nice is your old background is still visible, the old layer, so you don't have to worry about messing that up or do any changes on that, you know. So there you go. So I'm going to just paste this in nicely in there. Like so. Oops, I moved it. I hate it when your mouse moves when the moment you leave that button. It's quite crazy, guys. So there you are. And now what we want to do is grab, yeah, it's going to be difficult. I should actually have created a normal for that, but anyway, I'm just going to take this one, hit escape to make it work, use the selection tool, and just copy these guys without that top piece. Control C, Control V, and then just bring that down. And luckily we've got a line there to work on where we shouldn't go over, so it must be somewhere there. So now align this as best as I can, like that. Hit escape and set save. Alright, there you go. Hayloft normal PDN. No, that's not what we want. Why is it PDN? It should be DDS. Hayloft normal DDS. There we go. Save. Replace it. Yes. DXT1 maps adaptive. Okay. And then when it asks you to flatten, what it's going to do is it's going to take this layer and paste it over that layer exactly as it is. So we're going to say flatten it, and that's it. Alright, so unfortunately now the changes are done. That's the only hassle with doing it like that, but I can come and undo by using Control Z, hopefully, and then yeah, it should be like that. Alright, so you can fiddle with that around on your own time, but what I wanted to do is just show you how to get that in there and looking quite spiffy on the roof like that. Now you can see we've still got some rust decals and stuff, but those we will get around to that later on. We're not going to worry about that. I'll show you, or maybe we can have a quick look. Where is that rusty effect? I think it was under quick look. That's all the stuff. Here's the visuals now. Here's the visuals, man. Decals. Alright. Now the decals on this thing. Gonna have to look what the decals are looking like. Hayloft decal diffuse. Alright, so there it is. So we have the Hayloft decal diffuse that we need to as well as the normal. The specular and the normal. So the decal diffuse, Hayloft decal diffuse, and the normal we also have to bring over. So it's like a fairly intense going for it. Okay, so there's the decal diffuse and the decal normal. Right, Control C on that. Both of them into our Hayloft once again. And we now need to focus our R3D's attention on that too. So the decal diffuse and normal. Oh, you know what, guys? We forgot to have I still got the R3D open? Yes. So this one we forgot to reroute the normal for the Hayloft. It also needs to be there, and then also the decal diffuse, Hayloft decal diffuse. There it is. So that one we need to route to our map folder, and Hayloft decal normal. That one there. Nice, like so. Hayloft decal diffuse, Hayloft decal normal. Save that up. I think it will probably look much better now that we have the actual normal for that. I was wondering, it didn't look that impressive, but yeah, that looks a stack better. The texture, actually, you can see it sort of looks like a bumpy roof, which is perfect for us. Alright, now we just need to get rid of those ugly old rusty things up there, and to do that we need to now go into the decal diffuse. So open that up, and we want to see now, this I think is the area of the roof. Is, yeah, it does look like that's the roof, and it does look like this might be the wood. So what you're going to have to do now is play around with colors. I wonder if we can paste that in there. Probably I can't remember what I've done with that. Decal diffuses. Cancel. What am I doing now? So this decal is 512 by 1024, and this thing is 1024 by 40 something. So I'm just going to grab this like that, and let's go to the original. I've already got that selected, eh? Yeah, Control C, and then come into our diffuse here, Control V, keep canvas size. And what I want to do then is hold your shift in when you want to keep the aspect ratio. So hold shift and drag the corner to make it fit size a little bit better. Bring it in here. I just want to see what this decal's effect is going to be when I put this up there. If it's even the correct thing, you know. So Control C, Control V. Put another one in there. Control V. Drag another one. So this is texture work, guys, and you can now spend hours fiddling around with these textures, especially when you work in programs like Blender and all that, because I'm not really that big of a texture boffin. What I'm showing you here is just stuff that I've fooled around with and figured out and fiddled with and whatever. Alright, so we our hayloft diffuse. Let's save that and see what it looks like in here. So we're going to close this, don't save, reopen it just to make the changes visible and see what if we've got even the right decal. If we've selected the right one. Yes, we did select the right one, but you can see it is looking fairly horrible. Okay, the hayloft diffuse. So I want to see that decal. Where is it? Under visuals, decal. Do we have a way to fix that up? So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to show you a trick here. So we're going to take this decal and let's just remove these things on top of the roof. So we're going to go File, Export Selection, and in our hayloft, I'm just going to call this decals, export it right into the same folder where our i3D is, and then we close up here, we say no, and then oh, wait a second, where did it save now? I'm on my hayloft. Where's decal? Hey, what's going on here? Where did I save it to now? Did I save it in the I hope I didn't save it in the original map. So let's select it, visuals, decal, file, export selection, test map. Ah, that's where it is. You see, you have to be careful with this. We need to work out of the mods, not out of that test map. But I'll delete this out later on. So we go mods, test map, not my copy that's lying in there. So it is Placeables, hayloft, and then there it is. So now we can say decals, like so. Hit enter, and there you go. So close up. And there's decals now. So now we open this and let's see if we can do something about it. Alright, so that is quite a pity because it's all on top and all messed up. Oh my gosh. How did I get rid of this last time? I can't remember, guys. So if I now remove the albedo map, you see, because it's one i3D, and you can't really split. You can't select any single one of them, you know. So the only way to really do this will be to export this into maybe we should give it a try into Blender and get it sorted there. So go File, select it first, yes, File, Export, export, no, it is going to be, I think it's going to be Save As. Let's just have a look. Hayloft, once again, we're going to go Wavefront Object File, decals, like so. Okay, and then save, close up here, say no. We could have done that directly out of so the decals i3D and shapes file we can delete, and these are object file now. So we're going to open Blender, find my Blender. Where's my Blender? Why don't I? There it is. For a moment there I didn't see it. Oh yeah. Right, escape, press the A button for alpha, press the delete button. Okay, file import, go into a wavefront object file, and then into our mod folder where it is, my mods, where is my mods? Under documents, farming simulator, farming simulator, that's my game, sorry. my games, Farming Simulator 22 mods, and then test maps, map Alpine, oh word, Placeables, Hayloft, and there's the object file. Right. Now I have to like switch over to Blender mode, you know, because now if you're in Blender, all the mouse controls and everything is like different, you know. Good. So now we want to now have a look at this decal, see if we can here's our textures and all that. So it's good that we have a material for it. Default object material. Okay, so we're probably going to have to create a channel for it, for materials, but anyway, so let us work the problem. Alrighty guys, so what we're going to do is grab here on top, you can use the tab key, or you just go here to edit mode, and what we want to do is basically select this things that is on the roof, only the roof things. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it like that, drag a block over it like so, and then just hit delete, and then select vertices, and then once again delete vertices until we are done with all the vertices. So what I'm doing is I'm just deleting everything here on the roof that I can see is in the way, you know. So there you go. Just keep on deleting that until I'm like there. And now there is still one or two that is on the roof by the looks of it, like this 4, 8 here. So I'm going to just select them like so. Delete vertices. So I just hit the delete key, and then the delete menu pops up, and then I click on vertices, guys. I think I might have to click this X so we can have a look. That is the blank on the sides. Let's go Y. Yes, I think the X will be the best view to sort of get hold of. So to make sure I don't delete stuff that's on the side of the building. So like that is on the side of the building because they are 90 degrees. Alright, so yeah, I think let's go X, and then we can drag this like that. Yeah, unfortunately it's going to go over there, so I'm just going to go delete vertices like so. Delete vertices and delete vertices. Just manually come through them. Like there's a few that's on top of one another. We'll get to those just now. So this is not a time consuming project. Just take your time. These I think is on the side, so we're not going to do those, but these ones, are these now still on the roof? Yeah, they are on the roof by the looks of it. And this one here. And you'll probably sit there biting your nails or wanting to cut your wrists. And think, Farmer Bob, there's an easier way. You know, do it this way or whatever. But for me, it's just a matter of what I know. You know, so I'm sharing. I'm like very rusty, or you can say untrained still in Blender. So what I share with you is just what I've figured out. You know. So just bear with me while we work through all these vertices to get rid of them. There you go. I think that was the last one. I can't see anyone else like that. So we're going to go back into object mode, and that is it. And now that we have it like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file, save as, or just save the project. Let's just save the project as temp.decals, so that we just have the project saved. Okay, save Blender file. All right, just like that. And then what we want to do is we want to select the decals, and now it's currently got a material, but what I want to do is just check what the material is called here in my decals. Okay, so if I go up here into the hayloft, just open that quick and have a look at what that is called, because it's a good thing to keep your material name the same for what you've been exporting or using, especially when you export a thing like that. So we want to open our materials editing window. Where is it? Materials editing. Have I got it? I've got it open. Sorry, man. It's called decal material. So it's hayloft decal underscore material. Okay, so that is very important to keep that name the same. So what we're going to do is double click this and call it, I wonder if there was a way that I could hayloft decal. Control C, Control F, Control V, find next. Okay, so there it is, hayloft decal material. So I can just copy that, Control C, back into Blender, in here, select that, Control V, enter on it, and there it is. So now we've got the right name for it, and believe it or not, Giant's editor, you cannot change the material in your editor. So you can try like as much as you want. There's nothing to select here. The material that's set up in the R3D here, that material only gets changed here. So you actually have to edit the R3D here to change the material if you've given it another name, you know. So let's just stick to what it is. So now I'm going to just close this again, back into our Blender. And then we're going to go on to the export tools. Here we go. And we are going into use our own file name. So I'm going to select a place where it is. And then once again, recently used. Where's my recently stuff? Recent hayloft. There it is. So document map alpine hayloft. There it is. So I'm going to call this decals. Right, just like that. Set i3D like that, and there it is. And everything else I'm just going to leave as is, and I'm going to say make sure my decals are selected here, very important. And then I'm going to say export selected. Right, and then success export time, and I'm going to minimize this just in case we need to come back to it. All right, just like that. Close that up, and there it is, decals R3D. And now, important thing before you pull that back into your map, you want to make sure that this thing is actually operating, working. And there it is, decals, hayloft decal material. It's got nothing selected to it, so we're going to have to give it the correct info once again. So we're going to go in here, test map, mods test, make sure it's my one. We don't want to go back in there. So the decals material, hayloft, it's hayloft diffuse, it's there. So that is our diffuse for that. Say okay, there it is. And then the gloss map for that, we're going to use the normal map for that, because it's only decals, you know. So how decals normal, so open. We haven't actually fiddled with that or changed it or done any changes to it, so we're going to just leave it as is and then save that up. We can actually put a gloss map on it, guys, if I think about it. And there's probably a shader to it as well, like a building shader, so we better have a look at the shader as well. We're going to use the in-game one, but what I want to do first is just verify the original, what shader it's using, if it does use a shader. But I'm sure decals is gonna, it's probably gonna be the decal shader in the shaders directory, but let's just make sure, guys. Better be safe than sorry, you know. Visuals, open visuals, decal, and then find our shader here. In there, decal shader, yes, so it's dollar shader, decal shader, all right. And then I just wanted to check the gloss map for that. Hayloft decal specular, all right, so that's our gloss map. So don't save, back into the Hayloft decal specular, control C, control V. Actually, these files you can leave in game, because we didn't really modify them. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete all three of these. Mind you, before we do that, let's just set them here in the actual decals. So that one we want to go to Farming Simulator 22 data, shaders. No, it wasn't. It was data, maps F4, textures, and then it was called Hayloft, what was it called, decal, oh sorry man, it's not under the map. I was going to say something's like missing now. I'm looking my eyes out, but I can't see it, guys. So go back into the Hayloft here, and it will be in here, man. There it is. Alright, so what we're looking for is the texture file, which is that one, the diffuse. Say OK. And then obviously the gloss map for it is the same spot, data placeables lizard, and it will be the specular. So open that up, like so. And then also the normal map for it will be under nope, 22 data placeables lizard. Why did it not take me there automatically, you know? Normal, I love decal normals. Okay, and there you go. So that's the three. And then lastly, we're just going to add a shader for it. Replace or add. You click this little button here, data shaders, and then find the decal shader. So it will be there. Decal shader, open that up, and there you go. And now we can save it, and it's all set up to import into our i3D. A nicely customized decal i3D. And this one we can now close. Click save there in case we need to come back, but I don't think we'll have to. And then are we back in our Hayloft? Just make sure. Test map, yes. So this three, we're using the in-game ones, but this one is modified, so we'll leave those alone. Good. Alright, so now what we need to do now is open that up. You can see why modding stuff like customizing stuff like this is actually terribly time consuming, you know. So now we delete this decal, and we're going to go file import. Very important, guys, to make a note where you have taken it out. I must actually just have a look. I think it was under winter. Let's just go. Yeah, it was just under winter, because this node ID is very important. So don't just delete it, check first. Alright, so it was under 091. Okay, so I'm just going to delete it now. And then file import, back to our mods, into our maps, map Alpine, placeables, Hayloft, and then decals. Right, and then I'm going to middle drag it up in there into the position where I want it. So there it is. It's 091. Okay, and there you go. Our roof is looking beautiful, I must say. So all that work just to get the roof looking like that. But I think it looks quite chubby. Looks all right. Now for the sides, guys, it's the same drill all over, just doing the sides now. So this Hayloft Viz visual file, now obviously I have the sides on it as well. And we're going to go now to do this one here. It's Hayloft diffuse, just to make sure. So it's on that same diffuse, so we can just this time around we're going to have to close it and save, because we've added that decal. So we're going to save that, and now we can delete this, because the R3D there's no use for it anymore. If I delete that, just reopen it, it should be incorporated into our actual R3D now. Why is it not opening? My mouse is on its way out again. I keep on buying mouses that are, or mice, or mouses, or mouse that are not lasting that long. Maybe I'm working too much, you know, clicking all the time. But anyway, so there we are. Our decals are there, and they are looking spiffy. Yeah, looking spiffy like an old barn, you know. So so you don't need to have that one that you've exported. We can delete that one. We're all done with it in any way. Best to have as little files as possible. All the extra stuff that you don't need, just get rid of it. Okay, back to our job at hand. A form building diffuse. That was our building for copy of the building. So we can just reopen. Oh, mind you, we still have all these open here. So this is our Hayloft normal, and that's our farm building normal. So the farm building normal we're not going to use again, or are we? We might. Let me just we'll reopen it. So what we want to do now is change this part here to something, a different color, you know. So what you can do now is start a new layer. I wonder if we're going to do it with layers. No, leave the layer, because that's going to just cause problems if we save. No need for that. Or maybe I should, because I want to make the top layer in sort of a see-through. So you put a layer on top, and then you make it a little bit less visible, and then transparent is the word I'm looking for, guys. You must excuse my English, guys, because I don't actually speak English as a first language. English is my second language. I've just learned to speak it in my life, you know. It's not that I'm English. I'm actually Afrikaans, you know. I'm from South Africa. Hence, you'll probably hear some weird accent, you know, and lots of people have commented on my accent, but anyway, it's an Afrikaans accent. So here we are, guys. We want to now, yeah, we're going to have to use a layer now that I think of it. So I'm going to grab this nice white color here. So grab a selection of this white color here. I'm just going to hit escape there, because we don't want to hit escape again. You can start off the side, guys. It doesn't really matter. So if you start here clicking and dragging, it will only start selecting on your actual diffuse when you actually go over it. So it's not a matter of you worrying. But the up and down, obviously, you need to be careful. Alright, so look at this beautiful rock texture here. Not too bad. Control C. So I'm going to try, just give it a go and see if we can put like a transparent white over this wood texture. Okay, I think it's called opacity or something. We'll have a look now what it's called. Control V on this side, like so. And now we want to, while we have that selected, right guys, so what we're going to do now is obviously we have to change the properties of this layer so it becomes transparent. Now in Paint.net, transparency, or in all the texture or photo programs, it's not called transparency. Some might call it transparency, but here in Paint.net is called opacity for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to go into layers and then layer properties, or you can just hit F4. So just whatever you do there, and we're going to say here opacity 255 means it's fully non-transparent. So we're going to bring this down and make this like a whitish, transparently whitish looking wood, and just click OK for now, and then save as is, so that once again we can nicely just go and have a view, you know. Hayloft diffuse, make sure it's as DDS so that you override, and then you say yes and you say OK, and you're going to say flatten. Alright, so there you go. So hopefully our changes is right. Oh my gosh. Alright. And to do the opacity, guys, you have to put a second layer, because you're actually adjusting the layer's opacity. So you can't just paste it on here and change the opacity of the selected. I think if you press F4 now, it's going to go to background, you see, and then you can't. It's already non-transparent, you see, so you have to do that extra layer, paste on that layer, and then adjust that layer's transparency, if that makes any sense. Right, so once again, let's have a look what our hayloft looks like now. And it's probably going to have some weird textures on it. Once again, there it is, you see. And to be honest, I think this white doesn't look too shabby. You can play around with it and change the color, whatever you want to put in there, you know. So there you go, guys. So that is basically the idea. And now you can see we've got another piece of wood here on top, which we're going to have to do the same with that. Same story, and that wood on top is that piece there. So all I'm going to do now is, if I don't like here, I have to make a decision now. If I don't like what I see on the i3D, if this isn't appealing, I'll need to not save, and then what I need to do is Control Z on my texture here, so that I'll get my layer back, and then in the layer I press F4 again. No, cancel that. Control Z one more time. Control Z one more time. There you go, until you see the bright color once again, and then you're going to go F4 and then change the opacity until you are a happy chappy. So I'm going to make it a little bit more white, and maybe that color of white isn't really what you like, you know. So you can select the primary color here. If you click primary, I have to come out of that first to do that. Go to primary white and just see and paint that over there. Paint with white. Bloop, 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 bloop. Make the brush size a bit bigger. And now, what's nice now is I can now just paint, guys. I don't have to worry about painting over that, because I'm on the layer which only has got this little block on it, you know. So if I now keep it white like that, that's going to be a bright white. But anyway, you can play around here with different colors and whatever color you would like to put in here, and then paint it on there. And now I can go escape once to go back here to my selection tool and select that layer. There it is. I must be on layer 2, and now what I'm going to do is F4 and move this out of the way so I can see the color, and now bring that just like that so I can just see the wood. Alright, click OK and save once again. Hayloft diffuse. I don't know why it defaults back to that. It knows it's a DDS. Why is it defaulting back to PNG? That's crazy. Anyway, save, overwrite, yes. Click OK, flatten it. And what's nice is if you leave this open, guys, you can always come back like I've done now. Control Z until you're there again at the bright white, and then redo until you're happy. So it's like rinse and repeat, you know, until you are happy with the color. Like so. That doesn't look like the right color to me. Huh? Did I make it like a yellowish color there? What's going on here? No, man, it's a whitish color. I'm sure I used white there. This is also something that I've realized, guys, is if you start going back and forward with this type of thing, this is where the stuff gets so funny and confused, because now I've updated that there, and I think it's got to do with the shader. I'm not too sure why it does that, but now it doesn't update my actual i3D. Let's just turn off the shader in there, in the hayloft. Make sure what's going on here now, because now I can see that's not the white that I've selected on that thingamabobby. Visuals is what I want. Visuals, decals, add-ons, hayloft. There you go. So it's using the building shader, yeah, for that. It's got crazy. I know for a fact that that's not the white that I've put on there. And this is what I said earlier on. It's crazy if the building sort of, it now doesn't revert or it doesn't show our changes, and that is what I was struggling with the other time as well, until I started renaming the things, you know, and then only then it started to come right, give the right thing. So yeah, that's maybe the route that we'll need to go. So what to do? I'm just thinking, go back to this thing. Let's just resave it. Save it. So hayloft diffuse is definitely saved, so we don't have a problem there. Alright, let us do this. I'm going to go into visuals, hayloft, and then just make sure it's in documents, maps, test map, yes. Data placeables, yeah, you see the gloss map is there, and so the gloss map is still there. So let's just bring the gloss map out of the game, because I'm sure there is some type of a thing that's linked to the game. So let's get that hayloft normal specular, control C, bring that into here as well, control V. So I just want to bring this so that everything in this thing resembles our map, you know, not something else. Placeables, hayloft, and then our specular. Just like so. Save the i3D. So now make sure in our i3D to reload it and then have a look. Hayloft diffused, normal, and specular. Nice. And then the rest. You see what has changed here? We've taken the other shader, not the shader, but the decals. We've taken the decals back to game. Where is the decal? I don't see the decal. There it is. Decal, normal, diffuse, and specular. So it's only that three that we have, and it is selected there, so we should be all right. Okay, so I just wanted to verify that that's there. And now I think what I'll need to do is, unfortunately, I need to close these files now, just to make sure this is our in-game one. We don't want to save this, we just copied from it. So I'm just going to close it, don't save. And this one we definitely want to save if it wants to save. Alright, just want to make sure everything is uncached and taken out of memory and whatever. So let's reopen and see now. That should now refer to our nice little white there. It still gives us like horrible color. So let's just change that. And the problem now is I cannot revert back. I should have actually just made a copy of that. Good tip there for you guys. Make a copy before you do extra changes like that. So that's the farm building, and this is the hayloft. We did change the right thing, did we, guys? I honestly now I'm actually confused whether we did change the hayloft or did we change the farm building. No, we didn't change anything here because that was the wood was in the background. I remember that clearly. Okay, but anyway, that is the way now you will change the texture color or the transparency. So a good tip for you there on that. And now the next thing we want to have a look at is obviously changing the other wood on top, which is a side grain. And then there is the bottom wood of the i3D. Let me just open that so I can show you what I'm talking about. So there's two more things that we need to change on the hayloft. Up there, this wood here, it's like a darkish color. And then this one's here. If you struggle to see, guys, if you struggle to see anything here, just go into create up here and you create a light for yourself. There you go, you see, and you can put that anywhere really. It doesn't really matter, but at least when you've got a light, if I now delete the light, just check the difference, guys. If I take the light out, you can't really see colors that nice, but if you create a light for yourself, much better to actually view things and check colors and whatever, you know. So yeah, just wanted to share that too. So I'm gonna bring this up, down a little bit, and this light is at a spot and it's directional. Yeah, directional is probably good. I'm just not too sure. There you go. So if you change the, if you want to have a light shining there where you are, that type of thing, you know, you can do that too. But now you're going to have shades or whatever. So well, yeah, at the end of the day, that white actually looks good, guys. It's just because there wasn't enough light. But in game, you're going to have perspective and light. So that's also another tip, guys, which probably is the most important one of all, is have extra light in you if you work in a mod, you know, because now you can now immediately see what happened with me is I've been wondering about this color all the time, and this color has been messing me around, but actually it is looking very nice in the light, you know. It looks dark here. Oh my word. So let's just pull that up. Wonder why it's not looking that good. So make this smaller. And I have a C range. Make it 2000. It's probably going to be better. Scattering? Oh my word. Okay. Leave scattering off. Don't scatter too much. Anyway, we're not going to fiddle too much with that. It's just another tip, guys. Play around with the lights and make sure you've got enough lights. You can obviously have more than one if needed. Alright, so we want to go here to this two colors here at the bottom, or the one color. It's like a type of a wood texture, like a thickish plank, and then this dark wood here on top, so which has got like sort of grey grain in it, you know. So just remember that. So I'm not going to save, but we are definitely going to go back into our texture thing in here. So it's both these textures that we need to change. if we want to go there. So once again, I'm just going to grab my white from here, somewhere there, copy that like so, Control C, Control V, and drag it over here. Oh, that's not going to work, guys, eh? That's not going to work. Just delete that. Oh my word, Control Z. Let's just get rid of it all together like so. So what we want to do, once again, same drill, add another layer, create a selection box here, and I'm going to do both of them together, you know, just to have the same color. I should have actually just done all three together here with the same white transparent thingamabobby, you know. Can actually zoom in a little bit just to make this selection easier to see. You see now I'm already in the wrong spot, so I want to bring this one up a little bit, like right on the edge of that grain. That one is over a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now I think this one might want to come down a little bit like so. And now once again we're just going to grab a primary color here, white, and just paint white over it with our brush. Set our brush 500 or whatever, and then just paint on that like so. Alright, and then escape once, twice, select, click there, F4, and then adjust our opacity, get that thing out of the way. So we want to now sort of match the top color here, sort of get the two to balance. Remember, because we're going to have the top and bottom. If you want to, guys, do it separate, you just select separate block, as you can see. So one at a time is also alright. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Go save. Down to direct draw, hayloft diffuse, save, replace, and click OK, and flatten, and there you go. I'm going to minimize, don't close, picked up there, and then let's just have a look what it looks like now. And there you go, guys. And now obviously you can now on your own time and space go fiddle with the other decals and things. As you can see, these decals still needs a bit of fiddling with. The coloring on them isn't nice. And then it looks like we've got some bluish, we've missed a spot somewhere. Let me just have a look. Why is there like this plank, some bluish colors there on the plank? Somewhere I've missed something. Doesn't look like there's much that I've missed there. Alright, so it might be just thinking, guys. I'm just thinking what could be that texture. The normal, we don't worry about the normal and the specular, because the gloss map is just what gives it its glossiness, and the normal map gives it its bumpiness. So we don't want to change any of that. It's only for the roof that we wanted to change the normal a little bit. But for this, we don't want to actually do anything. This is farm building. We're done with that. I'm going to better delete that because I'm going to get confused between the two just now. I honestly don't know why that blue is there. But what I can do is just go and have a look at the original hayloft. Is there anything that I'm missing here? Hayloft doors. The doors are still there. Hayloft doors diffuse. So I wonder if the doors isn't. So that's also another thing that still needs to be changed. And it's going to follow the same suit. You're going to change the blocks one at a time with an overlay of white, and then this rusty thing here at the bottom, obviously you're going to maybe just do the whole thing with white and get rid of that coloring there, you know. So that basically, guys, is the hayloft door. I just want to have a look. Where is this door they're talking about? Oh, here we go. Yes, the doors is definitely going to have to be done. I can't remember. No, the decals didn't have that, but it's the same color as the decals, you know. So that's strange that there is. Let's just select the decals and see if that is part of the decals, because it's possible that no, it's not. These blue things isn't part of the decals. We have definitely missed a spot somewhere on that wood paste here, and I think it's got to do with this bottom thing. So let's just close this and not save, and let's just have a quick browse. If I do change the size of that, I'm going to go back there and then just bring this down a little bit more to there, and then a little bit higher, and then opacity F4. So all I've done now, guys, is Control Z until I see the white that I've painted, and then I know I'm where I was. And now I can just bring this down to a color once again like that. And the blend modes, I just normally leave at normal. You can play with all the different effects there for the blend mode, but I'm just going to leave it as is, like so. Save up. Once again, it's gone back there. Select direct draw, overwrite, yes. Click OK, flatten, and we are back there. Oops, why is that little line there now? That's not good. I'm not sure, but let's have a browse. We're on the wrong hayloft, guys. We should be on this hayloft. Open the right thing, Farmer Bob. There we go. Yeah, it's still the same edge of bluish, weirdish color. That is certainly very strange, guys. And I'm gonna wonder if it might be, is there something otherwise on the visuals? We've got the add-ons. What is that? It's the hay blower, okay. Doors pipe, the haylofted visual. Yeah, all of that is on the visuals. So it's definitely part of this one hayloft diffuse. Definitely part of that one hayloft diffuse. That's just the meshes for the collisions. And on the doors, we've got the nails and the doors. So there's not anything else there. It's definitely not a decal. But strange, guys, because if you look at the decals, that is sort of nailed on the wall there, part of the decals, and the doors on there. And that you can definitely see it is selected in the hayloft visual, which is got its hayloft diffuse. That's where it gets its diffuse from. Okay. Anyways, I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. I wanted to just show you how to change the textures on a building and how to save it and make it look nice in your game. I think we've covered mostly everything on that in this video, and the rest is just trial and error. The doors I'm sure you can do on your own, because all you need to do now is go into the doors and look at the hayloft doors diffuse and copy that over from the original map. So we're going to do the hayloft doors diffuse. There it is. Copy that, Control C, drop that into our hayloft here, and then once again just change the hayloft doors diffuse. Let's find it. There we go. Hayloft doors diffuse. Let's tell it that this boykie is now in the actual folder. Save it up like so, and then back into the i3D we can close up. We don't want to save it, but we want to do, oh my word, Hayloft doors diffuse. Why did it revert now? I didn't save. That is strange. I did save it when I exited. Save. Let's just make sure. Come back. This Hayloft is a weird, it's a weird building, guys. To be honest with you, it is very weird. I'll tell you what, I've had some weird things happen with this thing before. Just want to make sure that we don't have errors. Always good to check the log. Just save it up and close it up, and then just re-go in here, reload it. Hayloft doors diffuse. There we go. Alright, so it's accepted that it's got the diffuse in the in the folder, and then same drill, guys. The doors diffuse, you'll open that up and just paint the white over there by creating a new layer, and then grabbing a draw texture, and this time I'm just going to grab the whole thing, select white for my primary, and then paintbrush. You can actually use the fill also if you want to do the full solid color. Just drop it in there, but now that thing is now made a little white black dot there for some reason. I'll just use the paintbrush because it's just so easy to paint, guys. Just paint it all over, and then go back into selection, press F4 for the opacity, bring it down until you're happy with the color, something like that should be okay. And then I'm going to just drop this down here. Oh, Control Z, escape once, make another selection for this down piece here, because for some reason that doesn't look good at all. Paint that again. Now I wonder if I paint now, will it only paint the selection? To do that I'll probably have to create another layer. Oh my word. So layer 3, guys, select layer 3. I want to make this white darker white than that thingamabob there, like so. Just get rid of that, and then let's save it up. TDS, like so. Make sure it's on my map. Save. Yes, it's so easy to overwrite game stuff, guys, so always be careful with that. You will cry, I tell you what, because it's going to cost you to reinstall the game if you overwrite game stuff. So be safe on that. And there you go. Let's go and have a look at those doors, what the doors look like. Oh well, I can live with that, eh? It's like a yellowish color, but like I say, once again, don't be fooled by that. If you put a light up, you might be surprised that the color is totally different from what it looks like here in the thing. And there you go. Anyways, guys, I hope it's been insightful. And now, once you've done all of this, I almost ended off the video here, and then I realized, no, we still need to do the XML, custom XML. Put that in. We have got that. Sorry, we've got that already in our map. So, how to add the Hayloft to your map now? So what we need to do is go into game. We need a Hayloft in game. So from the store we can place a Hayloft, and then we get the line for it. It's an all placeable line. It shouldn't be something fancy, but it's always good to just not try, how can I say, not try and guess. Rather be safe and get the right line for it, for your Placeables XML. Because if you don't have the right line, sometimes there's a map bound ID, and and sometimes there isn't, you know, so just get the right line for it and you won't cry afterwards. That's basically my motto. I love to make things simple and keep it easy, guys, because otherwise, yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, things just can go horribly wrong. Okay, here we go. So we're in. I've just chosen Elm Creek just for the sake of having a map, and then all we're going to do is purchase buildings, construction, and I think this might be under silos, if I'm correct. What's this? Hayloft. Yes. Just drop it on the farm anywhere. It doesn't matter where. We just want it to be safe. Save the game. All we need is that save game. Quit the game and then go out. And there you go. Now it's as easy as pie, guys. This is really easy. So what we want to do now, first of all, is check our Farming Simulator 22 directory under My Games once again. In our saved game, I know it's save game 1 because I've checked. So on yours it might be a different save game, so just make sure and find your Placeables XML save game. Yeah, we want to reload it, so I had it open. So right at the bottom you'll find the very last thing should be your hayloft. You see here now there's some extra stuff here. It's got storage index for farm ID 1. So if you just put a normal placeable line like that line there, you wouldn't have had the silo storage index. So very great tip there, guys. And another tip, especially when you work on these last lines, people are tend to just do that and copy, and there you've got a mistake already. So don't copy this last placeable. It's not part of the placeable, guys. It's actually part of the whole placeable, because there's its friend is right on top. There's its friend, you know. So that's the start of the placeables, and this one here is the end of the placeables. So don't copy that. Don't make that mistake. I've done it myself. If you do that, don't feel bad. What am I doing? I want to go into my maps placeables. So I'm going to open my map, which is there, map Alpine, and then find my placeables. Here's my placeables for the map. Go right down to the bottom, Control V, got it in there. Now there's a few things that we need to edit here. First of all, the XML is not in the Lizard in-game directory anymore, so we want to fix that first. And by doing that, we need to go to the actual XML, which is now placed in here. So in my map name is test map, so whatever your map name is, so everything after that. So if I click here in this line, it will just give me the whole directory tree. So all I need is everything after my map name. So from the first name there, I copy that, Control C, go back into my XML, overwrite this whole piece up here, right up to the last thing before the last forward slash. Control V there, change all the backslashes to forward slashes. So I just double click on it and make a forward slash, and that's it. Now, because I'm working out of the map directory, I need to tell this placeable XML that it's in the map directory. So I need a $mapdir in front. So it is $mapdir and then dollar, and the forward slash after that is very important, guys. Don't forget the forward slash. While looking on top, I'm lazy, you know. I like to copy and paste, so I don't see anyone here directly. So yes, so I've just done that like that. And the next thing we want to fix for leading up to this haylofted XML is the store items for it. So we need to have a store item for it as well. So back into our map, open our mod desk, and in our mod desk file we're going to create a store item for it. So this is the end of the mod desk, the same as the placeables where we've been in. So just above that I want to add here a few lines. So I just create a few lines of space for myself. I press the home button, so now I'm there. Now what I want to do is open any map. It doesn't matter which one. You can go into the in-game Farming Simulator 22 data, maps, map Alpine. Let's just use map Alpine for instance, and find the store items.xml. Just open that up,
copy this section here, Control C, and just bring a store item line with it. So highlight the top of the store items and one line with it. Control C, go back to our mod desk, Control V. So there, I've brought that over. Back to the store items, right at the bottom, grab the last line there that closes the store item, Control C, go back to my mod desk, Control V. There you go. So we've added a line now to our mod desk for store items. So now you can add all your store items underneath this if you haven't added it yet on your map itself. Otherwise, you just add one more line there for that. And what we're going to do is grab everything from our map directory right up to the end. Control C, go back. That store items we can close. We finished with it. But we want to go into our mod desk and overwrite this whole thing there. Because we're working in the map directory, in the mod desk, you do not need the $map.$ / For some reason, I don't know why, the guys are clever, more clever enough to have it in the mod desk, not to have the $map.$ but in here, it do need it. It's like crazy, guys. Don't ask me why. It's just the way it is. So the sooner you get used to that, better. Alright, so we know now, both of these are pointing to the hayloft.xml that's in our map folder. Alright, so the placeables is pointing to it. There it is, hayloft.xml, as well as the mod desk hayloft.xml. Alright, so let's save that. Let's save that. And then now we're going to go to the hayloft.xml, because there we also need to fix things, you know. Oh my word, I've now closed the placeables. This is the safe game. We've done that. The i3D we're done with, so I can close all of that up. Let's just go back to the placeables XML, because we still need to put the positioning data in for it. We haven't changed this yet. Alright, few things more that we can fix here is remove the ID. You don't need the ID, and do have a space between your things, guys. If there's not a space, you'll have an error and you will not have that item in there. And then if the item is a default on your default form, you need the default form property in there as well. So I'm copying that, just dropping it in there, making sure there's a space between everything. Alright, so there you go. Now we want to open that hayloft.xml. That's where we actually wanted to go to. So here we go, hayloft.xml, and in here now everything is fine except for the actual i3D. And this is the new hayloft that we've created. This is still pointing to the actual one in the lizard, in the in-game under the lizard placeables. So we want to change that directory now to mine, which is under placeables hayloft, and there's our new i3D. Now this one is the one that we've modified. The one that it's pointing to currently is the one in game, which is not modified. You see what mine looks like. So if we just leave it as is, this XML will load the hayloft that's in the Giants directory, not my maps one. That's very important to change this. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back to the directory, once again click here, and then everything once again from after the map folder, we copy that, Control C, go back into the XML, which is in here, and then overwrite everything up to the last / Control V. Once again change all the / or backslashes to /. So I'll just double click them and hit the / and there you go. And verify that there's no spaces or different things or anything that is there, because if just a spell fault is in here, you will not get that thing loaded, and yeah, you will cry. Believe me, you'll cry. Okay, so anything else that we need to change is, the only thing is our positioning now. So now we need to actually get to the fun part, which is to open the map and place that in our map, the new customized hayloft, and then just verify that the thing works. So that's the very last bit of the last bit, you know. So let's just get stuck into that. Okay. So here we go. So down and out. I'm just going to find a spot here on the map. Now I know, yeah, this piece here in the bottom. I've used it so many times on placeables and things. I know this piece is nice and flat, so I'm going to import in our test map. Make sure the hayloft is there, the correct one, and just double click that to import. And very important, guys, oh, we forgot to save it without the light, so that light we need to delete immediately. In fact, it doesn't matter this one, because the only reason why we have this hayloft is to get the positioning data. The actual one that we're going to have to fix is the one in the directory, the actual i3D. Alright, so Control and B to place it. I'm not going to be too worried about the direction and all that. And now in game, you can actually have a browse at what it finally looks like. And you'll see it probably doesn't look too bad, you know. And this is still not in game, it's just in the editor. The lighting effects in the editor is totally different from the game, so yeah, because your game gets its environment.xml and it will be probably different, you know. So yeah, don't spend too much time worrying about the lighting. Okay guys, so now that we have the position data, we select the hayloft, grab this, Control Shift and C for the first 3, overwrite this, Control and V, like so, there you go, and then back to the i3D and rotation data, Control Shift C, back to the XML, overwrite rotation, Control V, like so. Save the placeables. I'm going to leave everything open just to come back to that. Now guys, you've got a choice. We've positioned it and everything is done. Your ground is worked around it and whatever. So maybe I can just quickly subtract here, make a little bit of thing here, make it nice around it. And when you're happy with this, you can delete it. Because this is not actually the hayloft that the game is loading. This is just one in the editor, and people don't understand it. The one in the editor, when there's an XML pulling the hayloft, it's not the one in your game, and they don't understand it, you know. So you can't leave this in the map. If you want to leave it in the map, it needs to be in the placeholders folder. Now I don't recall that I have a placeholders folder, but it needs to be in a folder with a script running. Now I always call it the placeholders folder because Giants came out with it a few years ago. You can have it in any folder, it doesn't really matter. Call it whatever folder you want, but it needs to be in a folder with a script. So you're going to have to create a transform for it and call that transform. I call it placeholders, like so. It doesn't matter what you call the folder because the folder is not important, the name is not important, but what's important is that your hayloft goes in there. Alright, and then once the hayloft is in there, it's going to be ignored by the game. So whatever you place in this folder is going to be ignored by the game, but not yet because there's no script on this folder. And I'm going to show you Windows user attributes. There's no script on it. If there was a script on it, you will see it. To give you an idea what the script looks like, if you haven't seen that before, there's scripts. These are attributes. They are all scripts running on this field 01. So, but there's nothing on the placeholders folder. Can you see it's empty? So what we're going to do now is just create a script running on that transform group. I call it folders because to me folders make more sense, but I call it the transform group because this is all transforms that goes into a group. So whatever. So all we're going to do is type in here on create like that, on create, and go into script callback because it's a script that's running on create. Click add. And now the onCreate script is called, and the name for that script that it needs to call is capital letter placeholders with an S dot onCreate, like so. And that is it, guys. Once you've typed it in there, believe it or not, now the script is active, and you can remove the script again here, delete attribute. So that is basically now what the script is saying to the game. This transform group and everything in it is not allowed to be loaded in the game. So I can prove that to you. It's very simple and easy. You can do it yourself. You can put remove this line out of your XML so there's nothing loading, and then you can put this hayloft in the placeholders folder and you won't see it in game. It will not appear because this script tells the game to ignore whatever is in this folder. Alright, so I've spent a lot of time explaining that. In many, I've actually made a video about it, and still people contact me. What does this thing do? And I have now 2 buildings in my game. Why do I have 2 buildings in my game? And then I explained to them, but you didn't put it in the placeholders folder, because if you put something in your map, it's going to appear in your map, but this XML, the Placeables XML, it's going to load another one. It's going to load this one here in the Hayloft XML. So this i3D is going to be pulled a second time, and you're going to have 2 in your map. You're going to have this i3D as well as the one that you actually loaded here into the map if you don't put it in the placeholders folder. So yeah, I've explained this like 2 million times before, and still people don't understand it. But anyway, hopefully one day we'll get there, guys. Don't worry about it. Anyways, great stuff. So now we are ready to test. So we've done our i3D, we've done our placeable, and we've done our store data or store items. So now we can just go into the game and just verify if our hayloft is down there. Oh yeah, we did put the positioning. I sometimes forget the positioning, you know. Okay, here we go. This one I can just delete. I'm going to say yes, open that up, and then go into my test map. Where is it? Test map, there it is. Oh, by the way, guys, for you guys that love the Ravenport map, I'm busy editing that map now for ModHub, so that the console guys can also play it. The guys have been asking me and asking me and asking me, and I finally gave in. It is a tremendous amount of work to get that map to console, so I've tackled the challenge, or the Mount Everest that I need to climb to get there. But probably not Mount Everest, maybe Kilimanjaro or something like that, maybe a tiny bit smaller, but yeah, I'm busy with that, guys. So if you love Ravenport, I do love Ravenport. It's a awesome map. So yes, I have converted it fully for, and look at the colors now, guys. Remember what I told you? The colors will look different in your map. Oh my word, this side is white, green. Why is it green? Oh my I don't know if you saw that, but it was white when you came down the hill. I don't know what's going on here, guys, but remember I told you the hayloft has got some weird stuff going on, and you will find now, guys, that when you and this has got to do with the name of the hayloft. It's only the hayloft that does this. I don't know why it does this, but maybe the guys with the thick glasses can help us there. But for me, it doesn't make sense. But the way to fix this problem is to change the names of the hayloft. So you export the i3D, you import it into your map, and then export it as a different hayloft. And don't call it hayloft, call it hay shed or something, and also change the name of the XML. And Bob's your uncle, you won't believe it, the problem is solved. And this is the weird thing. It's the only placeable that I've found this problem before. I haven't found it on anything else. Look at that, weird, eh? It's like crazy. It's like suddenly went green. It's got something to do with the shader. I'm not too sure why, but it's got to do with the shader that's connected to the hayloft, and for some reason there's a code or something running in it's probably got to do with the placeables.lua or something, you know, the script for the placeables that connects the hayloft back to, and then it got all this weird funny things happening to it. But I mean, look at the roof, guys. The roof is beautiful, eh? That tiled roof looks like really awesome, and it looks like a bumpy roof anyway. Remember the bump map, the normal map? That gives you that look of a bumpy thing. Yeah, and the gloss, you can see the gloss map working there as well, with the gloss of the sun. And we've got the sun shining there right on top, so yeah, crazy stuff. Anyway, we wanted to test if this thing is actually working. Let's just jump into a tractor. Oh my word, what's going on? Here we go. For some reason my machine really lagged. Oh my gosh, and I've alt tab out of the game. That's what happens when your alt tab is still selected in game. Oh my word. I just want to get this thing. I wonder if this weight have a hitch on it. I can't remember, but anyway, it was in my way now, so I had to just hook it up. But if it doesn't have a hitch, I'll quickly. Oh, it does have. Oh my word! No, leave it alone. Some of the hitches weights have a hitch point in the back, but this one doesn't. Let me just drop that here. Gee, why is it not selected? Oh my gosh. This little four-wheel drive tractor, it is crazy. It can really, it's actually a very nice tractor for doing yard work, you know, and having the little what do you call it, thingamabobbity to load it, the loader bucket and all those things on. Right, so first things first, let's just test our hayloft and make sure that it actually just works, you know. So it should work, guys, it should work. So let's just fill this with some straw. I think the hayloft takes grass. Hey, let's put in grass. I think it takes in grass. Where to get to? Grass is not accepted. I should have just put in hay. Oh my word, there you go. Alright. Okay, so it's definitely taking grass on the trigger, so that's a definite yes. Suppose we don't have to fill the whole thing. I just want to verify that it actually works, guys. That's basically it. Well, we haven't worked on the triggers or anything, so I don't think. So remember what I told you? This tractor is turning very sharp, and there you go. Yeah, it works like a bomb. And that, guys, is how you change the textures and fiddle around with the mod. I think it's been very insightful. I really hope so. I know it's been a long video, guys. I can't make it shorter than that. And you guys have been plaguing me for making a video on how to change textures on buildings, and I thought, let me do it in proper style, Farmer Bob style, do the whole thing and share with you how to do it. How you can do this with any placeable, guys, any placeable in the map. I found that the Rudolf Hoffman ones is a bit more challenging regarding the textures, but you can figure it out. The textures just it's like the hayloft. Some of the things are in the map directory, and some is in the actual placeables directory. So yeah, you just have to figure it out there, the same that I've done now and showed you. But I mean, look at this. This door actually looks bluish now. You see, we made it white, and now it sort of looks bluish. But that's the shader that's giving issues here. But like I say, the way to fix the hayloft is just rename it. Start it when you start. If you want to do the hayloft, do save that first. Remember, we export the i3D. Save it as a different name already, that i3D, so you can start the right way and just work it from there. Rename your XML as well. Very important to rename the XML. Guys, have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. Bless you and take care. Remember to like and subscribe, and do support my channel if you haven't really committed yet to Patreon. I really do appreciate all you guys there on Patreon. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.